I think it's time we talk about something that draws a lot of people's attention and lots of people seem to like, of whom I am one of. Vehicles with traction on the four wheels. They're amazing. When you've had one or drove one and enjoyed it, and I can say I enjoyed it a lot, you don't want to go back under any conditions. There's two types of vehicles with traction on all four wheels. The first one we know as four-wheel drive, or 4WD. And that's just as it sounds. And the other is all-wheel drive, which sounds similar as you get traction to all four wheels, but what's the difference? Well, that difference is very important. If I'm going to go into some terrain that I don't know what I'm going to encounter, sand, mud, dirt, rocks, little back roads with bumps and holes, I'm going to want a four-wheel drive, which is usually found in vehicles made for that purpose. Now, if I live in a zone where there is snow, for example, or small amounts of mud, or there are landslides around, or roads with different kinds of layers, that's where I'll want an all-wheel drive. Basically, the difference is that traction on all four wheels, or four-wheel drive, conventionally splits torque between the front and rear axles at a 50-50 distribution rate. So all the wheels get about the same amount of traction. With a four-wheel drive system, you can confidently disconnect an axle, usually the front one, and drive with just the rear tires. But not an all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive has power going to all four wheels always. All four wheels permanently have traction and are working. There exists a system, electronic of course, that controls the slippage of each wheel, so that if for any reason any individual tire starts to lose traction, that system reduces the torque, or power if you want to call it that, and sends it to the wheels with more tractions. This is ideal in snowy or icy conditions, for example, or through mud banks and puddles where the car can swerve. This system resolves that. It is a noticeable difference in daily driving because in those conditions one is very much safer than in a regular vehicle. So to sum it up, four-wheel drive is for more.
Welcome to the new, revised and facelifted 2015 Honda CR-V. A nameplate actually which was the world's best-selling SUV last year in 2014. So, no pressure with Honda applying changes to the car. They hope to retain that title for this year. Now, we've liked the CR-V with the package that delivered before. It was a great car with plenty of space, very relaxing to drive. What Honda have sought to do is improve upon that winning formula. So what is new for 2015? Well, we've got some styling tweaks, we've got some new sort of bulging headlights which are being seen across the range with Honda. At the front, a new updated grille which looks fantastic, sort of more of a cascading effect down the front of the car. There's a few other trinkets, some smart new alloy wheel options also. A big change in terms of infotainment is this new touchscreen infotainment system here. It's Android based, so a lot of cars are moving to mobile platforms now instead of building sort of in-house, usually rather clunky means to access iPods, etc. This is really nice actually, it's quite slick. I mean, I'm not a fan of Android tablets and things. I think sometimes menus inside menus, it becomes a little fussy. But this is actually, once you've got it all, it's all completely customizable, your home screen and everything. Once you've got it all set up exactly where you want it, it's really nice to actually have a system that you've tailored to yourself. Obviously it does your phone, it does Bluetooth, DAB radio fitted in this car, satellite navigation, the works, and that's a really nice addition. And you know, was one of the gripes with the older car was that the old infotainment system was a bit dated, but this really brings it right back up. This car in SR trim actually obviously gets dual zone climate control, which is really nice because we've had a few, not today, muggy day today, but a few hot days. Been nice to keep the car cool. The interior, whilst we're on it, gets this sort of half leather, half Alcantara seating, which is quite nice. It's very comfortable, supportive in the right places. In the back, you've got a nice flat floor, so all three seats can be used, and those seats can be lowered with just the pull of a lever, and there are bags of space, in fact class leading luggage space in the back. We even had a dog in the back this week, and you could probably fit 2 if you really wanted to. What else is new for 2015? Well, of course, the biggest change is the inclusion of this new 1.6 litre diesel engine, which we've got in this car. Now, this isn't to be confused with the already on offer 1.6. This car has 2 turbos. It's not twin turbo, they're sequential. And what that means is that this 1.6 diesel engine, it produces about 160 PS, that's what, 158-ish brake horsepower, and 350 newton meters of torque. As you progress, the first turbo kicks in, gives you a nice amount of torque, nice amount of pull initially. But then, whenever that starts to run out of puff at about 2000 RPM, like most diesels do, that's nothing unusual. Usually what you'd have to do is you'd short shift to keep that momentum going. But in this car, that second turbo kicks in, and it means that it pulls all the way almost to its rev line, which is a really, really nice thing to have in this car. The power delivery is so linear, it's really a very, very well designed engine. It's not too noisy. I mean, the cabin's 6% quieter over the outgoing model anyway because of the thicker carpets and things, but it's not too noisy. Under initial load there's a little bit of a grumble, but it's diesel, so that is to be expected. But once it's underway, it's really quiet. Coupled to that 1.6 litre diesel engine, which I have a lot of praise for, is this new 9-speed automatic gearbox, and this thing is just as impressive as the engine. That engine that I mentioned you can only get in the 4-wheel drive model, which this is, and this 9-speed gearbox is sublime. It really is a fantastic effort from Honda. I mean, you've got obviously the options for a faster shift in S mode and things like that, but the shifts in general are quite brisk. What is really impressive is how silky smooth they are, coupled with the start-stop, which is actually just kicked in here. The whole driving experience is very seamless. Yes, on the paddles, upshifts could be a little faster. Leave it in auto though, and you'll hardly notice the gear changes at all, which is really, really nice and adds to sort of this beautiful refinement that the car has overall. Like I said, it's got 9. Some people go, oh, why does it need 9 gears? Well, the answer to that is twofold. You've got efficiency being one answer. You have a correct ratio for a greater range of speeds, and also with more ratios in between, the gear changes are more seamless. There's less of a mechanical jump between gears. But this gearbox can also block change. So, for example, if I'm decelerating, I'm in 5th. Instead of the gearbox going 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, it can go 5th to 2nd if the speed drops fast enough, which is really nice, and again adds to the lack of mechanical clunk, clunk, clunk you usually get with automatic gearboxes. As for the driving experience, it's improved over the previous car in terms of handling, because the front track is ever so slightly wider, so you do get a bit more grip. It was a reasonably grippy car before. Body control again has always been quite good in this car. It does ride over bumps a little bit stiffer. I think the suspension has been made slightly firmer for increased body control. It's not a massive complaint, just over the previous model as an observation. I think it is a little bit stiffer. The steering could do with a little bit more feel, but this is sort of a common comment I seem to make about a lot of new cars with the steering setups they tend to go for. There could be a little bit more feel just off centre in my eyes. What else do we need to cover? Fuel economy, that's probably a big one for this, considering it's a big car. This 1.6 litre engine replaces the old 2.2, which wasn't the cleanest of engines. So what about this one then? Well, combined, Honda claim 55 mpg, which isn't too bad at all. And this being Honda, I would totally believe their mpg figures. They're one of the only manufacturers who seem to get it spot on, and in fact in one case have actually surpassed the official mpg figures in their cars. I mean, this has been doing predominantly town driving over the past few days, and it's still reading 39 mpg on the dashboard at the moment, so I totally believe their official figures. It's an efficient car, this. It seems to be the complete package, this. There's a lot to like about it. Yeah, there's a few little niggles, the slightly firmer ride, the very, very slight turbo lag to the engine when you initially pull away, but they're all very minor, and for what you get here, you know, it's really, really a fantastic package. It's expensive because a lot of Hondas are. You pay for the badge, you pay for the reputation of the car. I mean, this car with all of its options, and it's relatively well spec'd, this car is £32,000. Obviously entry-level models are cheaper, but they're more expensive than competitors. That said, entry-level models and mid-level models are better equipped than their equivalent competitors, so swings and roundabouts there. But seriously, if you're in the market for such an SUV as this, you'd be a fool not to consider the CR-V, particularly with this new engine. I mean, hat tip to Honda. I'm so impressed with the changes made to this car because it's so much more than a facelift. We've got a very competent engine, fantastic gearbox, building on an already brilliant package.